let's do this for 6 weeks.
Children are super smart.
There's actually 2 ways that this partnership works.
They're not dealing with the diabetes like we should. And hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Kidney Coach YouTube channel. I'm joined again today by the beautiful, amazing Jessianna Saville from the Kidney Nutritional Institute. And she has, as you probably know, joined us to talk about all things to eat for dinner if you have kidney disease. Have you found that having it come from you versus a spouse helps? How have you found, because obviously when they eat that way, they're actually going to improve their own health. So,
oh, yeah.
Have you found, and the same with the kid, children are super smart. If you tell them that broccoli is going to make them grow up big and strong, there seems to be a proclivity for them wanting to try it more. Have you found any tricks around that because you do a lot more nutritional coaching than I probably do in clinic? Like, have you found something that really works, or a way for a partner to explain this to their partner to help them get on board?
Yeah, so there's actually 2 ways that this partnership works. It's either someone who has kidney disease, we're actually working with their spouse who's concerned about them, and they're kind of like, like, if I have to do it, I'll do it. And they're like, this is going to change our life. So like, you have to do this. And in that case, where we have the person without the disease who has the most concern, we actually coach a lot on making sure that the relationship is a cheerleading relationship, not a policing relationship. So that's the first thing, where it's like, let's talk about why we're doing these things, and then how do we bring as many choices as possible in, and you're going to have to let a little bit go of the control, right? Mm-hmm. And most often people want to especially control and tighten down when they're scared. And so it's talking about, here's how much we can flex it. So that's one situation. On the other side, where there is someone who says, I want to take control of my situation. I know nutrition can help, and my spouse is not supportive at all. Like, they think I'm a crazy person, whatever. In that case, we have 2 options. If we can get the spouse to come in as part of the session, then we'll talk about, successes that we've had in the past. And we'll talk about, here's what this thing is going to change. And it's probably not as hard as you think. Because again, when there's resistance 99% of the time is based in fear. Mm-hmm. Fear of something that will be gone from their life, whether it's a food or something, but there's usually a fear. And once you can kind of pick through and figure out that fear of what's going on, then people tend to come together, and they at least can, mutually agree that we'll work on this the best way we can. So, I mean, honestly, for us, it's coming down to what's the main fear. And then number 2, what are the benefits? And then I'll tell you the other thing that's really the clincher is we like to put a time frame. So we say, I know this is unusual. Are you willing to try it for 6 weeks? Because you're going to get your wife or your husband or whoever in 6 weeks, they're going to get labs again. So let's do this for 6 weeks and see where things are at. And then we'll reassess the situation and, see if this is working or not. Do we need to shift gears? When you can put a time frame on an effort and it doesn't feel endless, it's so much easier to focus and to just be able to delay maybe some gratification, or just feel like it's not forever, never, never. Let's see where this goes, and then we'll take the next step. But shrinking the time frame back from forever is so crazy helpful for us. I just think that's a really powerful tool.
Yeah, I agree. You definitely making people feel like it's not forever makes a big difference, especially for the person who doesn't have the disease. So, no, I think that's great. Thank you for addressing that, because I think that's something that's really important, and something that, especially dinner time, where people, like we mentioned, it's a thing coming together. It can be such a big obstacle in people making positive change. And as we know with kidney disease, it really has to be every meal of the day. It's 2 out of 3 in some ways isn't good enough when you've got advanced kidney disease to halt this thing in its tracks and lay the foundation for really good health. And I can't tell you, I don't know if you find this, that you'll get a patient coming in and they're like, yeah, we're eating well, and you go through it and they've got breakfast and lunch nailed, dinner's not too bad, they've got most of it, but that's where you can start to see the stuff sneaking in, which then will lead to maybe a blood sugar spike, and then they're eating half a chocolate bar after dinner and things like that. And so, and then that, and I think this is a point that I want to reiterate, and I don't know if you feel the same, that when you've got a chronic disease, and it is very annoying, the small chinks in the armor where you are maybe putting too much salt on dinner, or you're suddenly going, I've eaten so many vegetables during the day, half a steak at dinner won't matter, or a pizza twice a week is fine because I'm tired. But when you've got a chronic disease, those little things do matter, because we're not turning off the inflammatory process, or we're not dealing with the diabetes like we should. And I think sometimes people don't realize it's that snowball contributive effect of, unfortunately, every meal stacks on top of itself, and a little chink when you've got chronic disease can undo all the good work that you've done.
Yeah, I think there's two ways that we'll address this. Is number one, it's easy for a small thing to become a regular thing.
Yes.
And when a small thing, and it doesn't feel like a regular thing. And I have experienced this personally. And I always like to go back to my experience when doing a ketogenic diet and coming into ketosis as a clinician. This is a therapy we use. And it's very apparent your little choices impact you when you're looking at ketosis. And I noticed for me, I was like, oh, like, it's not really a big deal. Like, I'll just do this or that or whatever. And that did make a big difference in how I felt and, staying in consistent ketosis.
Jessianna, thank you so much for joining me again. I know how busy you are, and I always appreciate your brilliant brain and mindset. And so as always, thanks again for joining us. If you want to be notified anytime we put up a new video, make sure you hit subscribe. If there's anything that you would like to ask Jessianna and her team for us to interview or talk about, you can put that in the comments below. If you want to know more about what we do, head to www.kidneycoach.com. You can also find us on Facebook in Facebook.com/Kidney Coach. Thanks again for being part of our community, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks.